The story begins not with gold, not with silver, but with a coin so ordinary, so familiar, that millions of Americans handle it every day without a second thought. The Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin from the Philadelphia Mint, dated 1977, a small, copper-plated disc, has long been considered everyday currency. But what if I told you that among those countless pieces of change, there exists a single anomaly 1 coin whose absence of a simple mint mark could transform it from pocket change into a fortune worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? Imagine walking through your cluttered drawers, perhaps cleaning out an old jar of coins saved from decades past. Among the familiar shine of familiar pennies, one catches your eye. At first glance, it seems like any other 1977 Lincoln cent. But something is different, something subtle. And this difference, invisible to most, holds the potential to rewrite the story of your wealth, your legacy, and your place in the quiet, secretive world of American numismatics. The 1977 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin is rare in itself. But the version without the Philadelphia Mint's characteristic P mark is extraordinarily scarce. Unlike coins minted in Denver, which proudly display the D, or in San Francisco, marked with this, the Philadelphia Mint traditionally left certain issues unmarked. By 1977, however, the expectation was different. Most collectors assume all coins from this era bear the Philadelphia mark, but a handful, almost impossibly few, slipped through the cracks. These coins, minted without the expected P, carry a silent rarity that collectors dream of, a whisper from history. A moment when the machinery, the bureaucracy, and human oversight all align to produce something entirely unique to now. Let me ask you, have you ever wondered what it feels like to hold in your hand a piece of history so rare that it commands attention not because of its metal, but because of its story? The excitement, almost addictive, is not just about the potential monetary value, it's the thrill of being one of the few who truly understand the secret. Owning a coin like this is like holding a hidden chapter of American history. A tangible connection to the people who handled it before you. From the shopkeeper in 1977 to the coin collector in the 1980s who never knew what they had done in recent years. Market values for such anomalies have defied conventional logic. While the typical Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin from the late 1970s can be worth a few cents to $1 in circulation, the rare 1977 no-mint mark version has been appraised at an astonishing $779,000. Think about that for a moment. A coin you could have walked past in your pocket or on the sidewalk. A coin so easily overlooked, now commanding close to $1 million. It's a story that evokes both awe and a little envy after all. Who wouldn't want to stumble upon a fortune hiding in plain sight? Collectors are drawn to anomalies like moths to a flame. Psychologists suggest it is not merely greed, but a deep-seated desire to uncover what most people overlook, to become part of an exclusive narrative. In numismatics, every small irregularity, every unintended variation represents a victory over the mundane, a triumph of perception and patience. The rare 1977 Lincoln cent without the Philadelphia mark is not just a coin, it is a challenge. A riddle waiting for those willing to study it, to recognize its value, and to claim their place among the few who see beyond the surface. But here's where the story gets even more fascinating. Many of these coins were never intended to exist. Mint records suggest that a handful may have been misstruck, or perhaps an experimental batch bypassed the usual marking protocols. Each surviving coin is therefore more than a collectible, it's an artifact of an almost imperceptible era in a system designed to produce uniformity. Owning such a coin is like discovering a secret passage in a familiar building, a hidden door in plain view that only the observant notice, and yet rarity alone does not dictate value. Condition matters. Luster, strike quality, and the coin's history all play crucial roles in transforming a copper disc into a treasure. A coin preserved in uncirculated condition can command exponentially more than one dulled by decades of circulation. The discerning collector knows this. The uninitiated? They might pass it by, oblivious to the fortune in their palm. This tension of fear of missing out, the suspense of discovery, is exactly what makes the pursuit of rare coins as thrilling as it is lucrative. It's worth pausing here to consider the broader market trends. Over the past decade, the numismatic world has seen a surge in interest from investors seeking both profit and legacy. Rare coins are no longer merely collectibles. They are assets, hedges against economic uncertainty, and statements of personal narrative. A single 1977 Lincoln cent without a Philadelphia mint mark can therefore be more than a curiosity. It can be a cornerstone of wealth. An heirloom, a conversation starter that quietly announces both discernment and foresight. Yet, as with all treasures, the true power of such a coin lies not just in its monetary worth, but in its story. Imagine a future where your children or grandchildren hold this coin, tracing aware of your careful handling, marveling at a copper disc that once passed unnoticed in the bustling hands of strangers. Imagine telling them that you discovered it when few even knew it existed, that you were the one who recognized its value, its rarity, its place in history. This is the bridge between wealth and legacy, the very reason collectors invest not just in metal, but in memory. That, of course, the thrill is not without peril. For every coin that achieves fame, countless others languish unrecognized, undervalued, or lost. In a dusty drawer, in a forgotten jar of coins, there may be treasures waiting like this 1977 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln cent that are poised to reward the vigilant and punish the inattentive. The question is, will you be the one to notice? Will you be the one to recognize the subtle variation that transforms a simple penny into a key to fortune? As we reflect on this extraordinary coin, it becomes clear that rare numismatics is not merely about acquiring objects, but about embracing a mindset. It's about curiosity, patience, and a willingness to look deeper. The 1977 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin without a Philadelphia mint mark is not just a financial asset, it is a reminder that even in the ordinary, even in the overlook, extraordinary value can hide. And sometimes, that hidden value waits for decades, silently accumulating not interest, but history, until it finally meets the one person ready to see it for what it truly is. So, the next time you sift through a handful of coins, remember, a fortune may lie in the mundane. A story may lie in the overlooked. And in your hands, perhaps, rests a secret of American coinage, a small copper disc carrying a promise that diligence, knowledge, and a touch of curiosity can reveal wonders beyond imagination. The 1977 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin without the Philadelphia mint mark is more than money. It is a bridge to history, a vessel of legacy, and a symbol of the extraordinary hiding in plain sight. That, and maybe, just maybe, the next treasure is closer than you think. Have you ever held a piece of history so small that it fits in your palm, yet so rare that it could redefine your life? Imagine touching a coin minted during a pivotal year of American history, seemingly ordinary, yet hiding a secret so valuable that collectors and investors have chased it for decades. Today, we dive into one of the most fascinating stories in modern numismatics. The 1980 to D-mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin whose understated appearance belies a potential worth of hundreds of thousands of dollars is to the untrained eye. This penny might appear mundane, a copper disc with Lincoln's solemn profile staring out from the obverse. But what makes this coin extraordinary is its moment in time, the meticulous choices of the U.S. Mint, and the rare circumstances that allowed a handful of these coins to escape into circulation as anomalies. In 1982, the U.S. Mint made a pivotal shift in composition for the Lincoln 1-cent coin. For nearly 150 years, the 1-cent piece had been struck primarily from a high copper alloy, giving it a rich, reddish-brown hue and a durability that defined generations of American coinage. But rising copper prices forced a dramatic change. The mint began producing pennies with a core of pure zinc, plated in a thin layer of copper. This meant that coins struck in 1980 could be either predominantly copper, like their historical predecessors, or zinc, a shiny, silvery white core barely cloaked in copper dot. And therein lies the secret that makes the 1980 to D-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent coin an object of obsession. Among the millions produced that year, a tiny fraction struck at the Denver Mint retained a classic high copper composition, while others were zinc. For collectors, distinguishing these subtle differences became a challenge akin to solving a hidden puzzle. The stakes? Astonishing. While most pennies from that year trade for mere cents, these high copper Denver coins have appeared in auction catalogs for values as high as $774,000. Yes, $774,000 for a coin that, for decades, passed through countless hands as if it were just a common penny. But how can a coin so small carry such monumental value? The story is part chemistry, part history, and part human fascination with rarity. Each coin minted in 1982 is a snapshot of economic tension, an artifact of a mint adapting to global copper prices and technological constraints. And yet, it's also a testament to human oversight in the rush to transition to zinc. A few copper-struck pennies slipped through, creating a treasure that only keen-eyed collectors can identify. Consider the psychology of this pursuit. Imagine knowing that a coin in your pocket, one you might have overlooked for years, could belong to a vanishingly small group of pennies worth more than your house in some markets. This is not mere speculation, it's a thrill rooted in certainty, backed by historical precedent. Collectors worldwide have been captivated by this anomaly, their passion fueled by the delicate interplay between scarcity and authenticity. The 1980 to D Lincoln 1 cent doesn't just tell a story about metals. It tells a story about ambition, foresight, and the chance that history sometimes leaves a hidden door open. What makes these coins especially compelling is their tangible connection to American history. Hold one in your hand, and you're touching a moment when Ronald Reagan was in the White House, when the nation faced economic shifts and inflationary pressure, and when the mint, quietly and methodically, was experimenting with the very foundation of its coinage. There's a visceral thrill in knowing that a single small object could bridge past and present in such a dramatic, almost cinematic way. Many wonder how to identify these rare high-copper Denver strikes. It's not as simple as looking at color. While copper coins retain a warm, reddish luster, lighting, wear, and circulation can obscure this difference. Experienced collectors often weigh the coin, examining the delicate grams of metal, sometimes even employing specialized tools to verify its composition. And each coin authenticated adds to a story of serendipity, of patient observation, and of a keen eye willing to see value where others see only commonality. Yet, beyond the monetary value lies the allure of legacy. Coins like the 1980 to D Lincoln 1 cent have the power to transform not just a collection, but a life's purpose. They inspire a connection across generations, grandparents passing down coins to grandchildren, each piece a lesson in history, patience, and vision. For those who understand the market, these coins are more than investment assets. They are touchstones of human curiosity, proof that even in a world dominated by digital transactions and intangible wealth, tangible artifacts of history can still hold power, and the market itself is an ecosystem alive with tension and intrigue. The value of these coins fluctuates, responding to collector enthusiasm, auction dynamics, and economic factors. One moment, a single 1980 to D Lincoln 1 cent might quietly sell for tens of thousands at a specialized numismatic auction. The next, news of a new discovery can send prices soaring, attracting both seasoned investors and casual enthusiasts. Here, every purchase is a bet on history, a wager that human fascination will continue to ascribe value to rarity and authenticity. It's worth pausing to reflect on what this pursuit teaches about human nature. Why are we drawn to small, circular objects with intricate designs? Perhaps because they carry stories, the rise and fall of metals, the fingerprints of the mint, the choices of past generations, and the endless quest for discovery. Each coin is a microcosm of civilization itself, a tangible reminder that even in something as mundane as a penny, the universe can hide a secret of immense significance. So, what makes the 1980 to D mint mark Lincoln 1 cent truly extraordinary is not just its metal, its rarity, or its market value, but the story it embodies. There's a reminder that history often whispers rather than shouts, that sometimes the most powerful legacies are hidden in plain sight, waiting for the observant, the patient, and the inspired to uncover them. For collectors, investors, and dreamers alike, this coin is more than currency. It is a testament to the thrill of discovery, the power of foresight, and the enduring magic of American numismatics in the end. Whether you are seeking wealth knowledge or a deeper connection to the past, the 1980 to D Lincoln 1 cent offers a lesson in possibility. It teaches that treasures are not always gold-plated or ostentatious. Sometimes they are quiet, copper discs holding centuries of history, waiting for the right hands to recognize their worth. And when that recognition comes, the reward is not merely financial, it is a chance to hold a piece of American legacy, to feel the pulse of history beneath your fingertips, and to join a lineage of collectors who have seen beyond the ordinary into the extraordinary. So next time you find a penny in your pocket, pause. Look at it, feel its weight, and imagine, could this humble coin be one of the rare 1980 to decopper Lincoln 1 cents? A quiet artifact with the potential to change everything? History, after all, has a way of hiding in the smallest of places, and those who look closely may find themselves holding not just a coin, but a story worth a fortune. At first glance, it seems like just another penny, another fragment of copper and zinc we pass without thought. But for those who see beyond the surface, this coin is a masterclass in subtlety, rarity, and human desire. Is the 1985 Denver Mint Mark Lincoln 1 cent coinette, under the right circumstances, can command values reaching hundreds of thousands of dollars, and in the rarest cases, even approach 7 figures. How is it possible that a coin minted in modern times could become a vessel of such wealth? To understand, we must journey into the hidden layers of coin production. Most of the coins that slip from the Denver Mint each day are flawless examples of consistency. The press strikes, the plankets rotate, and a familiar Lincoln visage appears. But every so often, an anomaly occurs. A misalignment, a die clash, or a minting error so subtle that only the most meticulous numismatist will notice. The 1985 D Lincoln 1 cent is not merely rare because of its mintage, it is rare because it escaped the uniformity of a factory line. Offering a glimpse of imperfection in a world obsessed with perfection, collectors who stumble upon such a coin describe a thrill unlike any other. It is the same thrill felt by treasure hunters sifting through the sands of history or by investors spotting a hidden gem in an overlooked market. There's a psychological alchemy at play here. The ordinary becomes extraordinary. The mundane transforms into opportunity, and a small disc of metal becomes a tangible legacy. You can almost hear Lincoln's quiet resolve echoing from the coin, reminding us that history is not static, it is a living narrative we can hold in our hands. Consider the market dynamics. In recent years, collectors have driven unprecedented interest in modern rarities, particularly those with subtle mint marks or anomalies. The 1985 Denver Mint Lincoln cent is emblematic of this trend. While millions of pennies were produced that year, only a handful possessed the characteristics that ignite the numismatic community. One slight imperfection at double die, a repunched mint mark can catapult a coin's value from mere dollars to hundreds of thousands. Imagine the thrill of discovering that in your own collection. That sense of possibility of holding something others overlooked is intoxicating as now. You might be wondering, why would such a seemingly recent coin carry such value? The answer lies not just in rarity, but in provenance and story. Unlike a generic collectible, each high-value 1985 Denver Mint Lincoln 1 cent comes with a narrative. Perhaps it survived a careless bankroll untouched. Perhaps it was preserved by a conscientious collector who recognized its subtle anomaly decades ago. Each coin is a chapter in the unfolding story of American minting, a tangible connection between past and present, a reminder that even in the most industrialized processes, chance can create brilliance, and there's a lesson for the vigilant collector. Timing and knowledge matter. The numismatic market is both exhilarating and unforgiving. Coins that were once ordinary can surge in value overnight, propelled by discoveries, auctions, or media attention. The 1985 D Lincoln penny is a living example of this phenomenon. One day it may sit quietly in a dusty album. The next, it could headline a prestigious auction, its price soaring to hundreds of thousands, or even more, for the right connoisseur willing to recognize its potential. It's a market where insight and foresight are as valuable as the coin itself. But let us not reduce this story to mere financial speculation. There is a deeper human resonance here. Owning such a coin is not just about money, it's about connection, continuity, and the thrill of discovery. Consider the Lincoln cent itself, a design chosen to honor the 16th president, whose legacy is inseparable from the ideals of perseverance and integrity. In holding a rare 1985 Denver Mint example, you are participating in a tradition that spans generations, touching the same historical currents that shaped America itself. There is a quiet pride in knowing that you possess something others might overlook, something that bridges history and the present moment. Now, here's a subtle truth. Not every 1985 D penny is a gold mine. Many are, for all practical purposes, just pennies. The discerning collector knows this, and therein lies the art of numismatics. It is a practice of observation, patience, and intuition. You study the coin under magnification, noting minute differences in the mint mark, the alignment, and the die strikes. You track auction records, market sentiment, and collector discourse. Every detail matters, because the smallest distinction can mean the difference between a few dollars and hundreds of thousands. The stakes are real, and so is the reward for those willing to engage deeply. Think of the excitement as a narrative unfolds, a coin emerges from the ordinary. Its rarity confirmed through painstaking scrutiny. Its market value recognized by a community of passionate collectors. Then comes the moment of revelation. The auction hammer falls, and acquired treasure transforms into liquid wealth. There is a story in every transaction, a thrill in every discovery, and a sense of legacy that transcends mere financial gain. That is the magic of the 1985 Denver Mint Lincoln 1 cent. As we reflect, one thing becomes clear. Coins like this remind us that the extraordinary is often hiding in plain sight. They teach us patience, discernment, and the joy of uncovering hidden treasures. They are small objects that carry immense stories, capable of igniting curiosity, hope, and ambition in equal measure. For the collector, the investor, the seeker of history, they are more than metal. They are portals to understanding, opportunity, and legacies. So, whether you are meticulously examining your collection, browsing through estate sales, or simply imagining what might lie forgotten in a dusty jar, remember this: sometimes the most unassuming coin holds the most profound secrets. The 1985 Denver Mint Mark Lincoln 1 cent is a reminder that fortune favors the observant, that history rewards the curious, and that the pursuit of something rare, something truly remarkable, can be one of life's most enduring adventures. Yet in the end, it is not merely about the value printed on auction sheets. It is about the thrill of discovery, the whisper of history, and the possibility that, in your own hands, an ordinary coin could become an extraordinary legacy. And perhaps, just perhaps, that penny you almost overlooked today could be the treasure you remember tomorrow. Imagine, just for a moment, that a tiny disc of copper could hold the promise of not only wealth but a legacy whispered across generations. Today, we unravel a story hidden in plain sight. The USA 1991 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln 1 cent coin from the Denver Mint. A piece so rare, so extraordinary, that its market value has skyrocketed to over $700,000. But how does a coin, often overlooked, transform into a treasure worth millions? At first glance, the 1991 D Lincoln 1 cent may seem ordinary. Its familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln gazes outward, this image a constant on American currency for over a century. Yet, the seemingly mundane holds a secret only the most discerning collectors have discovered. This coin is a testament to a rare moment of minting anomaly, a misalignment, a variation in die, a subtle flaw that turns something common into a collector's holy grail. And within that imperfection lies opportunity. That it begins with the mind of a collector, a person who sees the world not just as it is, but as it could be. Imagine standing before a display case, hundreds of pennies clinking softly, and suddenly your eyes catch a detail most would miss. The D Mint mark slightly shifted. The rim unusually sharp, a glint in the copper that seems almost intentional. That is the moment where casual ownership transforms into the pursuit of legacy. Why does the market respond so dramatically to such subtleties? Psychology intertwined with economics. Every coin carries a story, a scarcity, a proof that time cannot be replicated. When a coin like the 1991 Denver Mint Mark Lincoln 1 cent emerges in pristine condition, collectors sense more than its metal content. They sense potential. Potential for financial growth, yes, but also for prestige, for the satisfaction of possessing something others can only admire from afar. There is a thrill in knowing that your hands cradle a fragment of history, a coin that has survived decades of circulation, yet remains virtually untouched. You might ask, why this specific coin, and not any other Lincoln penny from 1991? The answer lies in an almost invisible world of minting errors and production quirks. Every year, millions of Lincoln 1 cent coins are struck, yet only a fraction reveal the anomalies that transform them into rare treasures. In the case of the 1991 Denver issue, it's the precise alignment of metal, press, and die that has created a coin so scarce that each one commands nearly $1 million on the open market. Collectors refer to it in hushed tones, aware that a single acquisition could redefine their collection or even their fortune. Let's pause to consider the emotional dimension. There is an undeniable allure in rarity. Humans are drawn to the exceptional, to the few who stand apart. It's why we gaze at fine art, why we invest in vintage watches, why we chase coins with slight imperfections that whisper, "I am different, and I will endure." For the mature American collector, someone who has perhaps spent decades cultivating their taste, this is more than hobby. It is a dialogue with time itself. It is the hope that the objects we choose today can secure a story tomorrow. Here's a curious fact that surprises many, despite its extraordinary value. The 1991 D. Lincoln 1 cent was never intended to be a collector's item. It entered circulation like any other penny, unnoticed by the public. It was only through the discerning eyes of numismatists, those who study coins with meticulous care, that its worth was recognized. In this, there is a lesson sometimes. The most extraordinary opportunities hide where everyone assumes there is nothing remarkable. And in those overlooked spaces, wealth and legacy quietly accumulate. The market for rare pennies, particularly Lincoln cents with notable mint marks, has seen unprecedented growth over the past decade. Factors such as mintage numbers, condition, and provenance play pivotal roles. But beyond the numbers lies a story of human desire, the fascination with owning something irreplaceable, something that resonates both historically and emotionally. Collectors who acquired these coins early now witness astonishing returns, yet even today, new entrants to the market can find paths to fortune if they understand the patterns, the anomalies, the whispers of history embedded in copper and zinc. Consider this, in the world of numismatics, every coin is a chapter of America's story. The 1991 Denver Mint Mark Lincoln 1 cent is a tale of meticulous craftsmanship, unintentional rarity, and the unforeseen alignment of chance and opportunity. Holding such a coin is akin to holding a secret bridge between past and future. One might wonder how many of these coins still lie dormant in jars, drawers, or forgotten coin rolls across the nation. Each one represents untapped potential, a story waiting for its next chapter to be written down, and yet, beyond the potential monetary value, there is something deeper, something profoundly human. Collecting coins like the 1991 D. Lincoln 1 cent is an act of preservation, a commitment to history. Every scratch-free surface, every perfectly struck edge is a testament to time's passage and our desire to claim a small, permanent piece of it. For collectors seeking to leave a legacy, to pass down tangible proof of taste, prudence, and foresight, this coin is more than currency, it is a symbol, a bridge to immortality through ownership. Imagine, years from now, your descendants handling the same coin, tracing its features with reverence, knowing that the decision to invest, to preserve, was yours. That is the quiet power of numismatics, the ability to convert fleeting material into enduring meaning. And for those who understand its value, there is both exhilaration and solemn responsibility. Before we conclude, consider the irony. What is today a coin worth hundreds of thousands of dollars once jangled in pockets and purses, exchanged for gum or newspaper? Its transformation from mundane to magnificent reflects the intersection of chance, diligence, and insight. And therein lies the secret every serious collector must grasp. The extraordinary often masquerades as ordinary, waiting for those with the vision to see what others overlook, so the next time you handle a coin, whether a humble copper Lincoln 1 cent or a rarer mint-marked treasure, ask yourself, what stories could it tell? What fortunes lie dormant beneath its surface? The USA 1991 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln 1 cent is not just a coin. It is a key, a symbol, a vessel of history and wealth. To find one is to touch possibility itself, to embrace the thrill of discovery, and to realize that even in a world inundated with currency, rarity and the promise it carries remains the ultimate treasure. This script is roughly 10 minutes of spoken narration when delivered at a natural, measured pace with deliberate pauses for emotional resonance. It combines history, psychology, market insight, and inspiration in a cinematic, mysterious tone. If you want, I can also add subtle, suspenseful cliffhanger moments every 1 to 2 minutes to increase watch retention and make it feel like a true treasure hunting story for viewers. That would make it even more compelling. Do you want me to do that next? The story of a 1990 to D mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin from the Philadelphia Mint. A coin whose hidden value has quietly eclipsed expectations. Quietly lurking in the shadows of our everyday transactions that at first glance, it's unassuming. Copper-colored, barely larger than a thumbnail. And yet, this is no ordinary penny. This is a coin born during a year of transition, a year when the U.S. Mint, responding to rising copper costs, began experimenting with new compositions. But even more intriguingly, this coin carries a minting anomaly so rare, so subtle, that only the most discerning collectors ever notice it. In the world of numismatics, rarity is not just scarcity. It is story, it is uniqueness, it is the silent heartbeat of history preserved in metal for decades. Collectors passed by the 1990 to D Lincoln 1 cent, unaware of the hidden treasure lying in plain sight. And yet, every now and then, one surfaces, its value staggering. Market whispers now place the worth of such a coin at nearly $760,000, an astronomical figure for a coin that once bought a candy bar. How could this be? What alchemy of history, production error, and collector desire transforms a humble 1-cent coin into a treasure capable of securing legacies? The answer lies in understanding both the human mind and the meticulous precision of the mint. The 1990 to D penny carries what experts call a double die error, a subtle misalignment in the design stamping process. To the casual eye, it is invisible. But to the trained collector, the doubled inscriptions, faint and shadowed, reveal a deviation from perfection, a mistake that suddenly becomes perfection in the eyes of those who recognize its rarity. Here, error equals opportunity. Flaw equals fortune. Consider the collector's psychology for a moment. We are drawn to the exceptional, to the story hidden beneath the surface. There is a thrill in discovery, a pulse of excitement in knowing that while others see nothing, you have glimpsed a secret. This is why, in auctions, prices for coins like the 1990 to D mint mark Lincoln 1 cent skyrocket. It's not just metal. It's the narrative, the bridge between history and human ambition that fuels the fever of the market. People don't just buy coins, they buy the thrill of possession. The chance to own a piece of immortality. Now, here's something to make you pause. Most of these coins are still quietly tucked in jars, drawers, and old coin rolls. Millions may exist, yet only a handful carry the double die anomaly, and fewer still are preserved in flawless condition. There's a hidden treasure hunt right in your home. Imagine opening that dusty box of loose change tonight and finding what no one expected, a coin that could transform a financial future. That's not just hope, that's potential realized through vigilance and passion. But this story is more than numbers. It's a reflection of the times. 1992 was a year of subtle change in America. The end of the Cold War was reshaping global economics. Technology was inching into homes with early computers and mobile phones. And yet, in this small copper disc, a quiet counterpoint, a constant reminder that some values endure, waiting to be discovered. The very metal of the coin, a blend of copper and zinc, encapsulates a moment when materials, economics, and craftsmanship intersected. And in that intersection, a secret anomaly was born. Collectors know the importance of provenance. A coin is only as valuable as the story it tells and the assurance of authenticity. That's why certification graded by experts, scrutinized under microscopes, documented for history is not optional. It is essential. A 1990 to D Lincoln 1 cent penny, verified and graded in pristine condition, tells a story that transcends time. It connects the meticulous hands of the mint workers to the eyes of the modern collector. It whispers across decades. Value is hidden in plain sight. Let's pause and consider the market today. Rare coin values are influenced by trends, global economic shifts, and human desire for tangible legacy. Unlike stocks or digital assets, coins carry tactile resonance. They are heritage in your pocket. The 1990 to D penny has become emblematic of this principle. What began as an everyday cent has become a benchmark for extraordinary numismatic investment. Scarcity, condition, and story converge, creating a rare and intoxicating formula, one that transforms a common object into a symbol of financial foresight and historical appreciation. Here's a subtle truth that often surprises new collectors. The value is not just in what you see, but in what others do not. A coin hiding a mint error, unnoticed by most, becomes a silent competitor in a marketplace driven by knowledge and passion. The moment you recognize the significance of a small anomaly, the dynamic shifts. Suddenly, the ordinary is extraordinary. Suddenly, opportunity lies in your hands, waiting for recognition, for action, and yet there is more to this tale. Beyond monetary worth lies legacy. Those who invest in rare coins are not merely seeking wealth. They are curating history, preserving fragments of culture, connecting generations. Imagine a future where a descendant opens a collection and sees a coin once dismissed as trivial, now a testament to foresight, care, and curiosity. Every scratch, every mint mark, every anomaly carries with it the echoes of human ambition and care. In that sense, rare coins are not just investment, they are inheritance. Perhaps the most astonishing aspect is the intersection of chance and timing. The coins that fetch extraordinary sums were often sitting unnoticed for decades. A simple twist of fate, someone curious enough to inspect every detail, patient enough to understand its significance, can turn a forgotten piece of copper into a life-changing asset. It's a reminder, gentle yet firm, that in both life and collecting, attentiveness and knowledge unlock opportunities. So, what does the 1990 to D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin teach us? It teaches that wealth and history often hide behind the unassuming. It teaches that our fascination with rarity is tied to a deeper human desire to discover, to preserve, to achieve. It teaches that one small object, when recognized and understood, can bridge the gap between everyday life and extraordinary legacy. And finally, it whispers this truth to those willing to listen. Fortune favors the observant, the patient, and the informed. For collectors, sellers, and investors alike, this coin is more than copper, it is possibility crystallized. And in the quiet moments when you hold such a coin and study the doubled inscriptions, the faint shadows of history, you realize something profound. You are not just holding currency. You are holding a story, a potential fortune, a link in a chain that connects past, present, and future. It is the allure of rare coinage, small, subtle, yet immeasurably powerful. That's so. The next time you sort through your loose change, consider this. What if the coin you casually pick up carries the weight of decades, the rarity of an anomaly, and the potential to secure both wealth and legacy? Could it be that in your hands lies the 1992 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny, the quiet hero of American numismatics, waiting for its moment in history to shine?